Hello, I'm meteorologist Heather Waldman. It's Friday, November 14th, a day that for a lot of places in the Sacramento Valley and the San Joaquin Valley too wound up being mostly dry. We do still have some showers lingering into the foothills. Got good news and maybe less good news for the weekend. The good news is that Saturday still looks like a fine day to be outside. There will be some damp areas, but most places are going to stay dry throughout the daylight hours. Not so good news is that Sunday may be trending a little bit wetter. I know if you've been paying attention to this forecast, it has seemingly flip-flopped quite a bit over the last few days. There's a reason why. We're going to talk about why. I'm going to show you the latest model data to help you time out as best as we can. But what I hope you take away from this is that if you have plans this weekend, keep them, but keep checking back in with us for the forecast because things can still change even as we go into Sunday and Monday, but it does look like Sunday and Monday will bring the best chances for the return of some rain and a little bit of high elevation snow as well. I'm recording this at just after 4 o'clock Friday afternoon. This is what the radar looked like at the time. Get some hit and miss showers on the east side of the valley and into the foothills. We did briefly have chain controls earlier this morning in the Sierra. Those have been lifted, and I think if you're traveling in the mountains tomorrow, things are going to stay relatively quiet. What I want to talk about is the uncertainty with this pattern that we've been seeing and will continue to see for the next week or so. For that, I'm going to call up a little graphic that I built earlier today just to explain a typical winter pattern and what we're getting instead. By typical pattern, I mean typical of a storm track if we're going to see stormy weather on the West Coast. I know obviously we go through plenty of winter stretches where we see pauses, but in a typical pattern where we get storm systems coming through Northern California, we get these troughs that dig in off the coast. Those troughs are where areas of low pressure form. The lows pick up on moisture, sometimes associated with atmospheric rivers, and then those troughs move from west to east. They cut right through. We get a burst of rain, we get a burst of snow, some colder air, and then those troughs move along. Those kinds of patterns are fairly easy for forecast models to predict because storms moving in one direction and they're moving at a pretty good speed. Let's talk instead about what we've got going on right now, what we saw yesterday, and what we're going to see for about the next week or so. So we have these troughs that are trying to dig in off the coast, and they are digging in, but instead of just zipping through from west to east, these lows are cutting off. We call them cut-off lows because you can see the flow around it here is now disconnected from the jet stream up here. The jet stream is sort of like the highway for areas of high and low pressure. They keep things moving along. Well, now we've, I don't know, call it a lane closure, call it a, we close the on-ramp or whatever, but these cut-off lows, because they're not attached to the jet stream, they just kind of ping-pong around. And it's that ping-ponging action that is really hard for models to pick up on. So if you get a low that kind of hangs out in one spot like it did for us yesterday, you can get some really big rainfall numbers, but you get just a little shift in where that low ends up, and you get dramatic changes. I mean, we lucked out yesterday. We got a lot of widespread rain. Didn't get much snow. We weren't expecting that to come through because we just didn't have all that much cold air. But as we go through the next few days, we're going to continue to see sort of that ping-ponging with these areas of low pressure. So we'll start with the big picture of Futurecast so you can get a better sense for what's going on. So this is 8 o'clock this evening. It's our high resolution model, so it does cut off over the ocean because it's focused on North America. But watch what happens here. This is the same low that brought us rain yesterday. That's now off the coast of Southern California. This is really heavy rain for the California coast, 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. We know there have already been some mandatory evacuations for some of those burn scars in LA County, just getting people out of the way. They're worried about debris flows there. But if you look at Northern California, we're dry all day Saturday. It's going to be cloudy, it's going to be cool, but it's an okay day to be outside. This same low bouncing back to the north. Remember, yesterday the low was over here, so we had rain coming through here. Well, Saturday night into Sunday, the low is going to be over here, and we're getting moisture wrapping around the back of it. So Saturday night into Sunday morning, the potential for rain showers in the valley for a time. I don't think it's going to last all day. And then you see the foothills rain and a little bit of Sierra snow as well, possibly enough for chain controls. Then as we go into Sunday night, Monday, another one of these systems starts to come in but it also starts to cut off again. So yeah, two of these systems that are just going to kind of bounce around, and there's the potential for more as we go into the end of next week. What I want you to take away about this weekend, if you have work to do outside, if the kids have tournaments, if you just want to get them out to the playground and let them blow off some steam, Saturday's going to be a good day to do that. Sunday is not going to be the washout that we saw on Thursday, but there are shower chances. I think it's going to be wetter in the foothills than in the valley, and we have snow chances too. So if you're going to be traveling over the Sierra summits, Saturday night, Sunday, and Monday are days to be conscientious of that, to have the chains and cables packed in the car, and be ready for some delays over the summits. I don't think we're going to see chain controls for that entire 48-hour stretch, but at times they may be necessary. We're talking a few inches of snow here and there. I'll actually call it the snow map while I continue to chatter. So takeaways. Again, Saturday, the fine day to be outdoors. Sunday, be flexible. I think there will be times where things do dry out, and then as we go into next week, things stay cool and they stay somewhat unsettled. So snow map, Dirk Verdorn put this together earlier today. This is a combined later Sunday into later Monday. So this is two systems combined. Not a lot of snow, but potentially enough that we do see some issues from time to time. So hopefully this helps you plan out your weekend a little bit. Again, Saturday the pick day, Sunday not a washout, but shower chances are there. I don't think we're going to see street flooding like what we saw in some areas on Thursday. I just don't think there's going to be quite that much rain in the valley. Wind is not going to be an issue this time around. It'll get a little bit breezy on Monday, but I don't see 40+ mile-an-hour gusts, so some good news there. But we're just in a nice little unsettled stretch. Keeps us busy as meteorologists. It's an interesting pattern. Lots of reasons why it could be playing out as it does, but it's also a changeable pattern. So hopefully you'll keep checking back in with me and the KCRA team. Of course, kcra.com is where you're going to find our detailed forecast updates anytime you need them. And if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, I'm going to continue to plan on posting these daily, more detailed looks at the forecast. But have a great rest of your Friday and have a great weekend. I'll talk to you soon.